Hi, this is Matt with Ember. I wanted to comment real quick on the Zscaler hack and some of the data that was stolen at Zscaler and the overall response in the industry around this. It seems like we are very quick to jump on anytime someone is breached in any way, shape, or form. I've seen comments on LinkedIn about, Zscaler, a security company, can't protect their data, yada, yada. And the important thing to recognize here is that there was no personal data. I mean, the data that was stolen was completely public and it was out of their Salesforce database, and that it's completely normal. Here's what we should care about. CISOs are burning out left and right. We have like a 50% burnout rate where they quit after a year. Some crazy statistics, like 80% of them feel overburdened. And a lot of that is due to chasing the attack surface. They spend all day trying to make their fortified fence 100% secure, and the attack surface ever expanding into different cloud environments. Now these clouds talking to each other, then you have to secure those connections to each other. And so what you're left with is just that chase and waiting for the next thing to blow up, and the stress levels are ridiculous, right? The solution to that, though, is what I think is marrying yourself to a framework and taking measured approaches to different technologies, right? And I think Zscaler did this spectacularly. They looked at this AI tool and thought the upside of AI is phenomenal. All of our clients want to utilize AI. We're starting AI services where we train clients on AI. We help them deploy AI tools. So the upside is phenomenal. And the downside is potentially it's a little bit of a security black box right now. It feels like it anyway. Every other day, there's new technologies coming out. Every other day, somebody figures out how to hack an AI like they did for this Salesforce chatbot. So it has a lot more risk to it, right? Implementing one of these AI tools. So what Zscaler did was they deployed it on their most insensitive data, right? They don't care about this data. It's completely public information and it's on their Salesforce. And they thought, here's our first step in a measured way to test AI against data that's already public that we don't really care about to see how this works. It's not to say there's not things to learn from this breach. People are talking about how fast they can renew their tokens between the chatbot and the tools that they're using and their Salesforce instance and different things like that. So there's definitely some learning opportunity and things that you may look out for those. They may have also not had a choice, right? Everybody's keep talking about, oh, they could, renew these tokens, do this, the other things. They're talking from one third-party product to another. They may not have had a whole lot of options in terms of how to secure that. But again, risk level high, severity of data extremely low. It's literally public information. Instead of chasing that attack surface to try to make our fence 100% secure, which is literally impossible, you take these measured approaches. We marry ourselves to SOC 2 Type 2. As you know, we just renewed it, and that lists out, we use a tool called SecureFrame, and that lists out all our third-party tools, and we can measure how risky each one of those tools that we use are and what the impact would be if there was a breach in one of those tools. And then we take certain measures to secure that data or choose not to use them, right? So we actually had one AI tool that we were looking at that would talk to our password manager that we use. And that was just too much risk for us. So we actually, even though we would save a ton of time, it was giving it keys to the kingdom. So I chose not to move forward with that tool. I stopped everybody from investigating that because I just wasn't comfortable at this point with that AI tool. And those are the kinds of decisions you can make with the executive team at whatever company you're working with or working for. And, you take those measured risk approaches. It's frustrating to see when a breach of literally no significance whatsoever occurs and people jump on the company to say they should have secured it. I think we would all do ourselves favors if we didn't have that knee-jerk response when you see that and look at kind of the measured approach that they take. And I can take that a step further. Everybody's going to get hacked. Everybody's going to have a breach at one point. And it's about how they respond to it and how quickly they respond to it, right? Whatever the incident is, whether it's CrowdStrike wasn't a hack, but CrowdStrike's incident and how quickly they responded to it when they took down a bunch of Windows machines, how much Microsoft responded to it, inviting security companies over to work on ways to mitigate that in the future. I think Okta several years ago had a breach, but again, super isolated. They were able to discover it and isolate that environment very, very quickly. So it's about that. It's about that business continuity and not about whether they got breached or not. Everyone's going to get breached at some point. It's about how they respond to it and how they recover from it. I'm going to be doing a talk at IT Nation this November, I think 5th or 6th. And I'm going to be talking about frameworks in particular and why it's important for MSPs like myself to marry yourselves to a framework or attach yourselves to a framework like NIST or SOC 2 or one of those CIS, so that you can use that as your backboard, use that as your measured response, use that as your scoreboard in terms of how secure you are. Microsoft Secure Score is really nice. It's great, but it's very specific to Microsoft tools. It has very little or no third-party vendor management. So utilizing a third-party framework like SecureFrame or several others to manage that risk and mitigate some of those to the best of your ability. You might not have the budget, but to the best of your ability to manage those and then feel good about it. You know that I already have this checklist made. This is a industry standard checklist of things that we should be looking out for. And this is what I've been given the budget to do. And this is the risk that is out there. And that's just one of many, many benefits of attaching yourself to one framework. Lack of hopefully the reduction of burnout, keeping the executive C-suite on the same page as you. So I'll be doing that talk. If you agree with me, if you thought this was interesting, go ahead and share this with your network. I'd love to see the industry mature past pointing fingers every time somebody experiences a breach and look at how the companies are responding to those breaches rather than the fact that they were breached in general. That's all. I spent the weekend thinking about that, and I wanted to get that out there. Have a great week, everybody.